The one who truly learns how to pray learns one of the deepest secrets of a full and joyful life. Many people think prayer is only going to a quiet place, bowing the head, whispering a few words, and then moving on. But that is not the real work. That is not the living power. Real prayer is not empty habit. It is not a ritual done to calm guilt for a moment. It is an inner act, a living act, a creative act. Prayer is an art, and like every art, it needs practice. Daily practice, steady practice, honest practice. Until you understand how it works, there is a method to follow. There is a way to do it that changes everything. Think about it. People have always wanted to know how to pray in a way that truly reaches the goal. Not just words, not just hope, not just begging. They wanted to know how to move into the answer, and that is the key. Prayer is not trying to force life to change from the outside. Prayer is learning how to move within yourself first. That is where the change begins. If you miss this, you miss the whole secret. So stay with me, because this is where it gets powerful. The prayer that works is not weak wishing. It is not waiting for some far-off moment. It is not saying, maybe one day. It is stepping into the state of the wish fulfilled now, quietly, fully, deeply. And once you understand that, you stop living like someone asking from lack. You begin living like someone who has already entered the answer. The real meaning of prayer is movement, inner movement, a motion of awareness from where you are now to where you want to be. Imagine you are standing in one place, but you want to be somewhere else, perhaps in another city, another home, another life. Outwardly, nothing has changed yet. Your body is still here, the room is still the same, the walls are still the same, but inwardly you dare to assume you are already there, right now, not tomorrow, not after 10 steps, now. That inner shift is prayer. That is the movement. You are no longer just thinking of the place, thinking of the life, thinking of the result. You are thinking from it, and that is a huge difference. Most people never notice this. They spend years thinking of what they want. They talk about it, they dream about it, they ache for it, but they do not live from it. They stay separate from it. They keep it at a distance. They keep saying, I want it. And those three words keep pushing it away. Listen carefully. The moment you say I am instead of I wish, everything begins to turn. That is the turning point. That is where prayer stops being a request and becomes a state. If you assume you are already where you want to be, then every thought that follows must fit that new position. That becomes your test. If you have really moved within, your reactions, your mood, your inner speech, even the way you think of others, will begin to match the new place you have accepted as real. There is a simple but life-changing truth here. Do not just want the thing, live it. Do not admire the life from a distance. Enter it in imagination. Do not remain a person standing outside the door staring at what could be. Walk through the door inwardly. This is the law. If an assumption is held long enough, it hardens into fact. That sentence can change a whole life if you let it sink in. An assumption, even if it seems false at first, if persisted in, becomes real in your world. So what does that mean tonight? Not next week, not someday, but tonight. It means do not go to bed as a person still wanting, still waiting, still hoping things will somehow turn around. Go to bed as the person who has already become the one you wanted to be. Feel it. Let it be natural. Ask yourself, what would it feel like if this were already true? Not what would it look like in theory. Not what would other people say. What would it feel like to be it now? That feeling is the secret doorway. This is where many people quit too early. They want instant proof. They want the world to change first so they can believe second. But the order is the other way around. First the inner acceptance, then the outer proof. That is why this matters so much. Because if you can catch the feeling tonight, even for a few moments, and fall asleep in it, you are planting something powerful beyond what the eye can measure. And yes, this can sound too simple, but do not leave yet. Simple does not mean weak. Simple is often where the deepest power hides. Try this in a very practical way. Sit where you are right now. Feel the chair beneath you. Notice the room. Then inwardly move. If there is a place you want to be, place yourself there in imagination. If there is a conversation you want to have, hear it. If there is a result you want to experience, enter it. Do not watch it like a movie from far away. Be in it. Feel yourself in the scene. Let it become so vivid that where you are physically begins to fade for a moment. That is the practice. Years ago, a simple exercise was used for this very reason. Sitting in one place, a person would imagine being somewhere else so fully that the feeling of the imagined place became stronger than the chair beneath the body. Then, if awareness slipped back to the room, they would return again to the inner scene and rebuild it, back and forth. Not with force, with feeling, with patience, with repetition. This is not fantasy for entertainment. This is training in inner movement. And one day, something clicks. One day the act of imagining no longer feels thin or distant. It feels real, near, alive. You begin to understand that consciousness can travel before the body does. Hold on to that, because once you learn this, you stop calling imagination just imagination. You begin to see it as the first stage of creation, the unseen beginning, the silent cause, the hidden root. And when the root changes, the tree must eventually show it. That is law, not luck, not accident, law. If you keep doing this, a strange confidence begins to grow. You place yourself inwardly where you want to be, and though you return to your present room, you no longer feel trapped by it. Something has shifted. You know the inner act has been done. You know life now has a path to follow. Events may still unfold through normal days, normal meetings, normal calls, normal chances, but they begin arranging themselves in ways you could not have forced. Step by step, life builds a bridge. Not always in the way you expected, not always in the order you imagined, but the bridge appears. One event leads to another. One meeting opens the next door. One idea brings the next move. This is why you do not need to panic about the middle. Your part is not to hammer out every detail. Your part is to occupy the end. Stay with the fulfilled state. Let the unseen wisdom arrange the road. That does not mean doing nothing in life. It means not trying to make fear your architect. It means not digging up the seed every morning to check if it is growing. This is the part almost everyone ruins by overthinking. They imagine for a moment, then spend the rest of the day asking when, how, why, what if, maybe not, what if it fails. And in doing that, they walk back out of the state they entered. So remember this. Enter the state. Return if you must to daily duties, but remain inwardly faithful. That inner loyalty is power. That quiet faithfulness is creative. And this is where things begin to move in ways that feel almost unbelievable. The outer world is not your enemy. It is a mirror. It reflects back the movement happening within you. That is why fighting only the outside rarely works for long. If you do not like what you are seeing, do not spend all your strength cursing the reflection. Change the pace before the mirror. Change the inner motion. Change the state you return to again and again. That is where the real control lives. Most people try to change people, change conditions, change timing, change the whole world around them, while leaving their inner reactions untouched. But there is no one to change but self. That does not mean blaming yourself. It means reclaiming your power. It means understanding that your dominant feeling, your accepted identity, your secret assumptions are constantly shaping the world you meet. If you carry yourself inwardly as rejected, you will keep reading rejection into things. If you carry yourself as delayed, life feels delayed. If you carry yourself as blessed, supported, chosen, steady, life begins to echo that. The mirror is exact, sometimes brutally exact, but that is good news because it means change is possible. It means you are not helpless. It means the story is not locked. Right here is your turning point. Stop trying to force the glass to smile first. Smile within. Stand within the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let the mirror catch up. It must. It has no choice but to show in time what has become stable in you. This is why inner discipline matters more than outer noise. This is why your unseen conversations matter.
This is why your bedtime feeling matters. The world is reporting you to yourself every single day.
One of the strongest forms of prayer is not asking over and over. It is gratitude from the state of fulfillment. A simple inner thank you can hold immense power when it is real, not fake politeness, not forced positive talk, real thanks. Why? Because genuine gratitude means you have accepted that it is done. When you say thank you from the heart, you are no longer pleading from distance. You are standing in possession. You are thinking from the answer. Feel the difference. Begging says, I do not have it. Thanks says, it is already mine. That shift is everything. So if you want a powerful prayer, catch the mood of fulfilled gratitude. Breathe it in. Let it settle in your body. Whisper within yourself, thank you. Not because you can see the full result already, but because inwardly you have entered it. That mood is not passive. It is creative. It changes your tone, your posture, your expectations. Suddenly your mind is no longer chasing, it is receiving. No longer straining, it is resting in completion. And that state has force, more force than panic, more force than endless effort, more force than anxious repetition. If you can fall asleep in gratitude, you are doing deep inner work. Do not underestimate that. People think power always looks loud. Often it is quiet. Often it is simply a settled feeling that refuses to argue with appearances. So tonight, instead of repeating 1,000 worried thoughts, try this. Feel the result. Say thank you within. Rest there. Let that be your prayer. Short, soft, certain. That can go farther than 1,000 empty words spoken without feeling. Your imagination is not a toy. It is not a side activity. It is not some useless daydream machine. It is the living center of your inner world. It is the place where identity is formed and future experience is first shaped. The deeper self in you moves through imagination. That is why what you consistently imagine with feeling matters so much. If all day long you imagine failure, conflict, delay, loss, and disappointment, then even without wanting it, you are feeding those states. But if you begin to imagine from the end you desire, and you do it with sincerity and regular practice, something new starts to organize in you. Your reactions change, your standards rise, your sense of self shifts. And when self shifts, life must reflect it. This is not about pretending in a shallow way. It is not about denying what is in front of you. It is about choosing the deeper truth you want to live from. This is important, so listen closely. You are not being asked to lie to yourself in panic. You are being invited to move inwardly into the state that would be true if your desire were already fulfilled. Then remain faithful to that state. This is where many people feel resistance. They say, but it is not true yet. Of course, not to the senses. That is why this is a practice of inner vision. First inwardly true, then outwardly shown. First accepted in consciousness, then experienced in fact. If you reverse that order, you stay waiting forever. If you understand that order, you begin to create on purpose. And that is when life stops feeling random. That is when you begin to sense that something sacred is happening through your own awareness. So when you lie down at night, do not collapse into sleep as a victim of the day. Do not rehearse what went wrong. Do not carry every fear onto the pillow as if it deserves one more hour of your life. Night is not just for rest. It is also a doorway, a quiet doorway, a creative doorway. As your body relaxes and your mind softens, you are more open to suggestion, more open to feeling, more open to entering a state deeply. Use that moment well. Sleep as the person you have chosen to be. Sleep as the one who is already loved, already secure, already free, already successful, already healed, already at peace. Not because you are trying to fool yourself, but because you are choosing the state you want to occupy. This is one of the most practical spiritual acts there is. Very simple, very direct, very strong. Do not go to sleep feeling pushed around by conditions. Go to sleep as the master of your direction. Let the last mood of the night be the mood of fulfillment. If your mind wanders, bring it back. If doubt rises, do not wrestle it for an hour. Return to the feeling, return to the scene, return to the simple assumption that it is done. This is how you train the deeper levels of self. This is how you stop giving your most impressionable moments to fear. And if you do this night after night, calmly, faithfully, you may be shocked by how life begins to answer. Not always instantly, but clearly, often quietly at first, then undeniably. This is why tonight matters, not because of drama, because of direction. Take this seriously, but do not make it heavy. Test it, make it personal. Use your own life as the laboratory. Choose one thing, just one if you need to. Something clear, something you truly want to experience. Then, instead of talking about it all day, practice being it inwardly. What would your mood be if it were done? How would you walk through tomorrow if it were already settled? What would your inner conversations sound like if the answer were already part of your life? Enter that, stay with that, and watch. This is not blind belief. This is experiment, honest experiment. Try it and see. Many people reject a law they have never really tested. They try once for 2 minutes while secretly expecting failure, then say it does not work. But anything worth mastering asks for steadiness. A musician practices, an athlete practices, a speaker practices. So practice this, not with strain, but with loyalty, not with desperation, but with interest. You are learning to move awareness. You are learning to choose a state. You are learning to stop worshipping appearances and start planting causes. That is mature inner work. And once you see even a small result, once you notice that your inner assumption begins to show itself outwardly, conviction grows. It becomes your own knowledge, not borrowed words. No one can argue you out of what you have proved in direct experience. That is why this must become yours, not theory, practice, not borrowed language, personal knowing. And once that knowing comes, you will never again look at imagination as something small. As you rest at night, what you deeply feel yourself to be matters more than what you occasionally say with your lips. Words can be thin, feeling is deeper. Feeling impresses, feeling forms identity. Feeling becomes the atmosphere in which your life unfolds. So the question is simple. Who are you being when no one is watching? What are you accepting as true about yourself in the silent hours? That is the seed. If you feel small, life mirrors smallness. If you feel forgotten, life often echoes that mood. If you feel chosen, supported, capable, and inwardly established in your desire fulfilled, life slowly begins to bend around that center. It is not magic in the childish sense. It is law in the inner sense. This is why the work is so intimate. No one else can do it for you. No one else can occupy your state for you. No one else can feel your fulfilled life from within your own being. Others can encourage you, teach you, inspire you. But the inner act is yours. The acceptance is yours. The nightly assumption is yours. The loyalty to the chosen state is yours. And that is beautiful, because it means the creative power is not far away. It is not outside you. It is closer than breath, closer than speech. It lives in the very sense of being. Right where you say, I am, there the whole secret begins. So guard that center. Do not join every dark thought that knocks at the door. Do not sign every fearful story placed before you. Choose who you are, choose inwardly, and choose again if needed. That repeated choice becomes character. That character becomes destiny. If this message reaches you at the right moment, then do not just admire it, use it tonight. Not tomorrow night, tonight. When the room goes quiet and the day finally slows down, take a few minutes and enter the life you want as if it were already real. Make it simple, make it natural. Do not overbuild the scene. One short moment can be enough. A handshake that proves the job is yours. A message that confirms the good news. The feeling of wearing the ring. The peace of looking at the bank balance. The relief of hearing the doctor say, everything is clear. The calm of being in the home you wanted. Pick the end. Live there for a moment, then sleep there. This is where the shift happens. Not in noise, in stillness. Not in endless wanting, in inward possession. And if you feel resistance, that is okay. Stay gentle. Return again. The point is not perfection on the first night. The point is direction. The point is entering the state often enough that it begins to feel familiar, then natural, then true. And once it feels true within, the outer world begins its slow, sure obedience. So do not be casual with your final thoughts before sleep. They matter, they shape, they guide. Tonight, let your last act be an act of quiet creation. Let your last mood be fulfilled. Let your last inner word be thank you. And then rest. not as someone abandoned by life, but as someone who has touched the deeper law and decided to work with it. You are not just a person pushed around by events. You are not only a watcher of circumstances. You are not here to live forever as someone reacting, fearing, begging, and waiting. There is a deeper role available to you. The one who chooses inwardly, the one who accepts the end, the one who moves in imagination and lets life build the bridge, the one who stops saying, maybe someday, and begins saying through feeling, it is done. That is the shift. That is the new look. That is the stronger way to live. So from this moment, stop identifying yourself as the one who only wants. Become the one who is. Become the one who already stands inwardly where the desire is fulfilled. Let that identity settle into your nervous system. Let it soften your speech. Let it change the story you repeat. Let it reshape what you expect from the next day, the next week, the next chapter of your life. This is not passive dreaming. This is inner alignment. This is spiritual action. This is the art. And the more you practice it, the less life feels random. You begin to notice a hidden order, a strange accuracy, a quiet response from reality itself. Then faith is no longer forced. It becomes natural because you have seen the pattern. You have felt the connection. You have watched the mirror answer the movement within. So tonight, do it. Enter the state. Feel it real. Give thanks. Sleep in that identity. And let the deeper power within you carry it forward.